Morning, everybody. We got Tristan Guerrero here. He's a San Diego real estate expert and very excited to have him on. Tristan, if you could give everybody a little introduction on where you're from, what you do, and yeah, just a little info on yourself.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, thank you for inviting me on the show, Jonathan. It's always a pleasure. Um, well, I'm actually a Bay Area native. I was born and raised in the Bay Area, more South Bay, and just recently moved down to San Diego a couple months ago, just before Halloween, and so wasn't having much success up in the Bay Area where I started with Keller Williams, but now moving down to the Southern California area to San Diego, looking to start my business. And actually, just first couple weeks, just closed my first escrow before the end of the year. So that was a big
Congrats,
plus.
man. Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
thank you. But looking to help anyone out there that's looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate. But my interest in real estate didn't really start until college, where I went to Menlo College up in the Bay, just down the street from Stanford,
Hmm.
and it was great. They have a real estate program there, which not a lot of colleges offer a real estate program. And just joining the college real estate club, then becoming the president of the club, I really found a love for real estate from there.
Yeah.
And it really just opens your mind more than just being a real estate agent, which I thought of at the time was the only thing a part of real estate. But as you learn a little bit more about it, real estate's such a big industry. You could be in acquisition, you could be in development, you could be in construction, you name it, even some of the back end stuff. So I started really looking into that. And my first experience in real estate was actually with Shea Homes on the developer side, doing more of the forward planning work, helping them strategize master plan communities,
Hmm.
helping them perform and execute land transfers, land purchase agreements too, while also managing horizontal construction to make sure that every project went smoothly from beginning to end. But right now, I reside in San Diego in North County area and hoping to make a difference, change people's lives. So
Yeah, that's awesome. So you went to school up north. How old are you?
I'm 23.
23. Okay, yeah, you're young. I'm 29. So yeah, you got a lot going on. That's good. So you went to school, then you graduated, and then you got your real estate license shortly thereafter.
Yeah, so a part of Menlo's business program, we take an internship along with the internship program at
Mm-hmm.
Menlo. So between your junior and senior year summer, you find an internship for the summer along with a class that you take once a week to make sure that the industry that you're in and the job position you're in for that internship goes well and it runs smoothly so that by the time you graduate college, you're pretty much set up with a full-time position in the industry you desire. And
Nice.
so when I interned with Shea Homes in community development, I was then offered a full-time position in the same department right
Mm-hmm.
after I graduated. So I was able to work with them for about a year. And before I was no longer able to work with them. So after that, I kind of reflected on what I truly wanted to go for in real estate. And that's when getting my license became an option. I kind of was putting that off to the side. But after I wasn't able to work with Shea Homes much longer, I was just told myself, hey, let me just put my head down, study for the real estate license, schedule the test, and pass it. So I actually just got my license this past April in 2024. So pretty newly licensed agent, but still have some
But you,
experience in real estate. Yeah.
but you got your first deal done, right? You got them to the closing table. Got it all wrapped up.
Yeah. It was. I was pretty stoked about it, and it was everything happened really fast. I moved
Yeah.
down here 2 weeks later. I was doing my calls, my cold calls, and it was a really cold call. and I
Mm-hmm.
was just doing circle dialing around the open house I was doing before that weekend, and it just took one neighbor to pick up the phone and say, "You know what? I do have someone I know that's looking to buy it, my stepbrother."
Yeah,
He
those
shared
are
his
awesome. It's
house.
like shit. Finally, I got through.
Yeah, and it took me 2 weeks to get to that point of where this guy basically shared a referral just by geodialing around an
Mm-hmm.
open house.
Yeah.
And I called his brother, and we set up an appointment that led to signing a BBRA now. After all the NAR settlements, it's required under law.
Mm-hmm.
And first weekend of showing him and his wife homes, we made an offer on a home and it got accepted. It was
Nice.
crazy, yeah. And
What city? What specific area of San Diego is that?
North County, so up
North County.
in Vista actually. So I live
Okay.
in Vista, and he literally lives down the street from me, where I live. So I told him like, hey, once you move in, we're practically going to be neighbors, so I can go check up
Nice.
on you if you need any help.
Cool. Yeah, that's great. So what's your and who do you hang your license with right now?
EXP Realty,
EXP. Okay,
yeah, and
cool.
I'm part of a team. I'm with Fam Realty Group,
Uh-huh.
Fam short for family, because we
Uh-huh.
feel like every client we work with, you're joining our family, and we're treating you like family.
So you have in your team, you have like some more senior people, folks that you can like look up to and that have been doing it a lot longer and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Nice.
our team's about 20, 25 agents, and we have an
Cool.
admin team where we have our sales manager, we have our team leader, our business partner. We even have her husband that does all the back end stuff, all the tech and technology stuff to make sure that we're successful in our starting our own business and building our own
Mm-hmm.
brand. So
Yeah.
they're really there to support you as the agent too.
Yeah, I live in St. Augustine, Florida, but I'm from Ventura County, California, if you know where that is.
Yeah, yeah,
It's like a little bit north of LA by Santa Barbara. Um, yeah, I live in Florida, and a lot of my friends here and close family members, a lot of them are agents, commercial agents. A lot of people are in real estate. It's great. It's very. I love the industry, and they're on good teams, and they utilize technology and all the Zillow leads and like CRMs and stuff like that. That I feel like a lot of the brokerage houses, 10, 20, 30 years ago, a lot of the real estate companies, they haven't really transitioned to the modern way, which I don't know. If I was an agent, I would want to go to like those really high tech players that are utilizing technology to the full capabilities.
yeah, and especially with AI on the come up and it's
Mm-hmm.
exponentially just improving every day.
Mm-hmm.
We That's one of the main things that we use every day. Like our
Yeah.
CRM system is actually built around Chat GPT, and
Mm-hmm.
it really helps us just be more organized, um, get straight to the point on things. It notifies us when we should follow up, whether a lead is just not getting back to us or maybe needs more attention. So,
Mm-hmm.
and it just like Chat GPT, you can even ask it questions to make sure you're guiding that lead in the right direction too.
Yeah,
So it
it's
just,
crazy it's crazy the AI stuff.
I know, yeah,
Yeah. It's like it's scary how smart it is and it like learns based off of your feedback and like yeah, it's wild.
yeah.
Cool. So you're in San Diego. Do you do you work with a lot of like military or veterans in that area? Because I know they have. I was in the Marine Corps, so I know they have a big
Oh,
base there,
nice.
Camp Pendleton. Do you guys do any work with military or any vets? Or...
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Like my clients, I just helped. Their he actually worked used to live on Camp Pendleton. He worked on base. He still works
Mm-hmm.
on base. He's a um,
Like a
flight
contractor or
instructor.
something.
He's a flight instructor to fly helicopters,
Nice.
and he's one of he's. I'm not sure what rank he is, but yeah, we do work in with clients in the military, the Marine Corps, the Army, you name it. And
Yeah.
there's a huge military presence down here, so you almost
Mm-hmm.
kind of have to as an agent to really get exposure and make connections with with first responders, um, the military, and you name it, and just being able to know what VA loans are,
Yeah,
all
that's
the
what I was
benefits.
getting at. Is exactly, yeah, that's what I was getting at. Like being an agent, being able to understand like the VA loan and like the processes and stuff like that. Because that's how my family we got our first home. Is we used the VA loan here in Florida, and
Nice.
we bought a new construction DR Horton home. It was like 370. We put zero down, and because I had a
Wow.
disability rating, I don't think we had to pay the funding fee either. So it's like if you're in the military or you're a veteran and you have access to the VA loan, I think it's a very can be very beneficial. And it's nice when the agents know like the tips and the tricks and how to kind of maneuver using it.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Yeah, and I'd say anyone that is able to qualify for VA loan, use it.
Mm-hmm.
Like a part of our mastermind group, Rich Summers, that he runs our mastermind group. He he qualified for VA, and I'm pretty sure he took full advantage of that to be able to use
Mm-hmm.
that 0% down, because who wouldn't?
Yeah. No.
Zero
Yeah.
percent down, that's crazy. Like I would definitely utilize it if I had access to those benefits to use VA. Like buy your first home, make it your starter home or investment property,
Mm-hmm.
whatever your goals are. I would definitely take full advantage of that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's great. I've been hearing. Do you follow like Thatch or like do you have you heard of like any of like the ADU stuff in like San Diego? The
Yeah, yeah.
like in like
I follow Thatch on
uh-huh.
Instagram. I love all his reels, his content, and stuff like that. I love learning from
Mm-hmm.
him. But yeah, like ADUs are a huge thing that are coming up right now. Thatch is doing it himself in Seattle, and in San Diego, you have people starting to get on the game, and I think that's the future of real estate. To be honest, especially in this North County area,
Mm-hmm.
Oceanside, Vista, San Marcos, you have this big plot of land with this 3 bed, 2 bath home,
Mm-hmm.
and you honestly just remodel that primary, put a couple ADUs on there, and you're already paying your mortgage back without
Yeah.
having to work um, mainly on just your active income job. But you also have the downside of building ADUs, which I've heard there's one guy doing it. I'm not sure what his name is. He put 17 ADUs on one piece of land, like one parcel, which is insane. Um,
So he
and
basically has like a little apartment building.
yeah, like in a development in a developed community that's all
Mm-hmm.
single family homes, and you got to think there is a little bit of downside to ADUs, because now you pretty much have a multi-family complex
Yeah.
in a community of single family developments. And so I totally get where the government's going with promoting ADU building, but doing it in that way, in that manner, I just think it's there gets to a point where you lose value by
Yeah.
more building, and
Mm-hmm.
that's why there's a lot. That's why in like development, when I was with Shea Homes, we do a bunch of research before we even build out a community to make sure that we're building the right product. Like,
Yeah.
is it right to build single family in this area, or duplex, or duets, maybe even multifamily? There's a lot of study that goes into it in development before fully build out of that community.
Yeah, you
And
gotta do your
if you're
research
just
for
gonna
sure.
out of nowhere just plot 17 ADUs and no one's saying anything to stop you,
Mm-hmm.
it's almost a detriment to that community. And there has been some backlash, I would say.
Yeah.
I'd say
Yeah.
ADUs are great. Other than that,
So what's so you're 23 years old and you joined the mastermind. Like I when my brother and I joined, like we talked for like, we had multiple discussions like do we really want to like pay this much money to join? Like because it's not cheap. It's like multiple
oh
thousands of dollars per person.
yeah,
Um So being 23, like a fresh, basically brand new agent, less than a year, it sounds like what caused you to like turn the switch on and just fully invest in like your education on growing your personal brand and like what was the logic behind that in case people
Yeah,
want to take follow the same path.
I think it started with my move to San Diego because I literally just packed everything I had, took all my savings. I found somewhere to rent without even seeing the place, not even
Mm-hmm.
meeting the roommates, and just committed and took this huge risk. And I think that's where it starts with like all these successful big entrepreneurs out there. So I had to start somewhere. You have to take a risk.
Mm-hmm.
And if you know it's right, you feel in your gut that it's right, and you want to start your business there, have at it. And so part of that influenced me to sit down and think, okay, I'm hearing from a couple people in my industry up in the Bay Area, like really take the time to think about where you want to start your business because as an agent, where you started, you have to live where you started.
Mm-hmm.
And so I took a whole day to sit down and think about why San Diego. Okay, I like the people there. I like the laid back vibe. I love the culture, and most importantly, I love the location and the weather. So I'm like,
For
why am
sure.
I? Why not start my business here, where
Mm-hmm.
I want to live? And all that drew me to just start planning the move. So you set a date, and you commit to it. So I did. I moved down here, and I had Rich actually reach out over DM on Instagram, and I've already been following him too before I moved. And starting a podcast didn't really cross my mind until he brought it up because
Mm-hmm.
I had already been following Ryan Serhant. He's probably my biggest idol, probably most people in real estate too. And he voices on his social media about how important it is to have a personal brand, especially in your business. And so I thought about that, and with being on the phone with Rich, telling me how big it is to start your podcast, especially even think about starting a podcast, right there and then I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna commit to it. I'm already taking this risk being down here. Why not build it out even more? Take take on a little bit more risk, but I know it's gonna pay back in the long run. It takes time, but if you're consistent, it's you're gonna pay dividends, and you'll see that success start coming. So
Yeah, that's awesome. So, and that's a common thing that I find too, like just getting started, like whether it's getting your real estate license, buying your first house, starting your business, starting a podcast, you
right,
know, you might try 100 times or 10 times and fail a couple times, but if you don't try, you're never going to have the opportunity to fail or succeed. So,
exactly.
yeah, so that's why, yeah, taking action, getting uncomfortable, I think is really important if you want to succeed. And Ryan Serhan, that's funny you mentioned that. My brother-in-law, he's an agent here in St. Augustine. He's a pretty good agent,
Nice.
and I bought him his that Ryan Serhan book. I went to Barnes and Noble last night and got him. I guess that's I don't know
Oh
if
no
it's
way.
his. Yeah, I don't know if it's his only book or if it's multiple, but I got him that for his birthday.
Nice.
Yeah, he's the guy from New York, right? Manhattan.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
actually it started with $1 Million Listing
Uh huh.
when I was growing up, and then when he decided to branch off and do his own thing and start his own brokerage, he has his new show called Owning Manhattan. I don't know if you've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's coming out with a season two, but watching the first season, it just gives you a glimpse of the drama, what comes with buying, selling real estate, being able to run your own business, running a brokerage that big and trying to expand it
Mm-hmm.
while also managing all that. It shows you perspective of how difficult it is and how many roadblocks you run into doing that and just being an
Mm-hmm.
agent in general. So I really like it, and for the viewers out there, you should watch Owning Manhattan if you're interested in real estate. I think it's a great starting point if you're maybe thinking about real estate but not sure what the agent life's like. I think it accurately articulates that.
Yeah, yeah, because there's a difference between like just being an agent that has their license and like being like an actual really great agent. Like it takes
Yeah,
you have to be fully committed. It can't be your part time gig or something like that.
yeah, yeah. People that think they can come in as an agent, do it part time, you're lying to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like any other business. You got to start your business. You got to run your business like a business, because that's
Mm-hmm.
what you are as an agent. You're your personal business, and it takes financing, reaching out to people, staying connected with them, just like anything else in business. So you're lying to yourself if you could do it part time, because it really is a full time gig.
Yeah.
Once you got to invest all your time into it.
So what are your goals for 2025?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, coming up, what after completing the first week of into the new year, I want to buy my first house down here by October 2025. I think that's
Nice.
my big goal right now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and to get there, I want to make sure I make 363,000 in GCI, which if you put that in terms, that's about 200K in taxable income.
Mm-hmm.
And so part of that big goal is so that it could help, benefit me as I start growing in real estate, having a portfolio of real estate on my back, so that it gets me one step closer to financial freedom, just like everyone
Mm-hmm.
else wants.
Yeah.
And I think you put in the time, you put in the effort, take action, you'll get there.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I gotta
Yeah.
say. But
That's good. So, so I'll ask you. I'll follow up because we're in the same mastermind. Rich Summers is a seven figure creator mastermind. So
yeah,
I'll be holding you accountable. Make sure you get it by October or before.
yeah. I mean, I already have an accountability buddy, but hey, I like having other people holding me accountable too. So
Nice. Are you starting a? You said you started a podcast. Are you about to start one?
yeah, um, and that's part of joining the mastermind, is being able to start and grow your podcast and your personal
Mm-hmm.
brand. So I just posted my first video, my first podcast episode, and the channel's called Straight to the Point, with your one and only realtor TMG, your San Diego
Nice.
realtor. And that first episode, I wanted to really talk about the job market, especially for someone in my shoes, Gen Z, that's looking to find a job after college.
Mm-hmm.
You probably look at market data right now, and it shows that there's a lot of job growth in the area, but it's not the type of jobs that we're looking for out of college. So that's where we break down, like, when you come out of college, you have this great 4 year undergrad degree in business or marketing, you name it. Um, but you aren't qualified for some jobs that require experience, because you don't have 5, 8, 10 years of experience that they're asking for
Yeah.
the position you want. So then Gen Z people like us are then trying to find jobs just to make money, to get by, to live in San Diego. So they're trying to get into just their old entry level job, or anything like being a cashier or barista somewhere, just to get by while they're looking for their career job. And they can't even get that because they're overqualified with a degree. So people that had that job in high school or even during college, and now after graduating college, they can't even get that. So
Yeah.
they're stuck in this weird area of, how do I make money, and then how am I also going to find my career job? So that's where me and my buddy, he's been my best friend since middle school, high school. We sit down and we talk about the challenges, because he's currently going through that. Applied to 1,500 different jobs in the last 7 months, and he only got 2 appointments out of that. It was just crazy, yeah.
Yeah,
And I would even say like San Diego has a pretty tough standard of living too, as it is. It's
for
harder than the
sure.
Bay Area.
For
Um,
sure.
the same job that you get in San Diego, you get paid 10 to 15,000, maybe even 20,000 less than that same job in the Bay Area. And you see a
Hmm.
lot of people move up to the Bay Area that are my age because you're making more, and the
Hmm.
standard living isn't as stressful as here in San Diego area. Um, but yeah, that's just kind of a glimpse of what we talked about in the episode.
So, so if you're an agent, just like it's obviously intimidating. Like if you just pack up and move, you haven't sold any properties. Maybe you've sold one, but like, how are you? Did you have money saved up before you moved there, or like how are you kind of keeping afloat until the next deals come through? Like, I feel like that would be a common concern for any new agents that are looking to go to like a hot market and like fully commit. Like, how should they plan to just budget, I guess, until their checks come in?
Yeah, yeah, it took a lot of planning for sure because it's a lot of risk. Being an agent, you're a 1099 contractor that gets paid basically by the job, and you only get paid by commission when you close escrow on a deal.
Hmm.
And so it took a lot of sitting down, looking at finances of how much do I have and how much time do I have until I run out. But also looking at, okay, well, if I'm prospecting, I'm looking for business, I'm going to make that back. As long as I'm doing that, I'm being consistent with prospecting, I don't see a risk at all. Um, and especially if you put your mind to the goals that you set. Like I have my goals set. I have it written here on a board that I tell myself every morning I wake up. Um, you'll get it. And it is hard thinking about it as someone that isn't an agent or even someone trying to be an agent because you only get paid by the job or by
Yeah.
every closed escrow. But you also there's a level of commitment because you got to be fully committed to the role because if you're not and you let your fear and worry come in and take over your mind, there you go. It's as simple as that. It's either you you believe yourself, you're gonna do it, you're gonna get it, or you don't. You have all this fear and worry. You're definitely not gonna get it. It's a big mindset thing.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, you're kind of like throwing yourself. It's like sink or swim, kind of. That's
It
almost
is,
like yeah. Sometimes you got to do that to make it work.
and to be honest, I probably wouldn't have gone my first deal in the first month moving down here if it weren't for my team too. Just having that support system there as well. So I
Hmm.
think it's also very crucial to interview all these different realty brokerages to make sure you're going in with the right fit. But I
Yeah.
also think you can benefit from a team too. To any new agent looking to hang their license with the agency right now, like my team is great because they already have a established systemized system in place. We
Hmm.
have Lofty as our CRM system. That's all covered under ChatGPT and AI. We have our personalized website where you connect someone to that website. They can literally heart any home on there. It lets me know like what homes they're interested in. It comes back to our CRM. Like just stuff like that where it makes
Hmm.
your life so much easier as an agent to run your business.
Yeah.
Like that's the name of the game. You want to make your life easy on yourself. You don't want to make your life hard because then it's going to be hard.
Hmm.
You don't want to build all these
Yeah.
tasks up that you don't need to do. You want to streamline everything, which I liked about joining FAM.
Hmm.
Um, but not just that, the culture too. Like being around the admin team and other agents is also crucial as well. Looking into where you hang your license. So there's a lot of things you got to consider being an agent.
Yeah. Do
Other
you
than
would you do you think like you're obviously fully committed. If you're fully committed, do you have time? Like if you're worried about like say you have no money, right? You just have you're about to get your license, you have no money. Do you have time to work like weekends or not really? Like are you just burnt out from the daily grind of cold calling and stuff like that? or do you think that that's realistic?
Yeah, I mean, there's other agents on our team that work a second job because they're just starting off. They might not have enough money saved up. So, yeah, they are working a second job. I
Okay.
worked a second job up in the Bay Area. I worked at a specialty running shoe shop that I had first got in college. I was working at two, one over
Hmm.
near where I went to school and one back at home. So, luckily, I had the connection in place to make sure I was making some money after school or during school. But I
Yeah.
even had stuff saved up. So, um, yeah, I mean, you got to do what you got to do. Get a second job if you need to, if you aren't seeing the deals come to you. Um,
Hmm.
and you got to work your ass off.
Yeah.
I think
That's
Mark
good. I
Cuban,
love that.
yeah, Mark Cuban once said on, I don't know where he said it, but he said if he were to restart his career, no one knew him. He'd get a sales job during the day and get a second job at night bartending because you get tips, and it's still
Hmm.
you're still selling your business bartending as well.
For
So
sure. Yeah.
yeah, if you're able to balance that out and you're able to grind that out, shoot, you could eventually get there and you don't have to work that second job anymore.
I just listened to like Hermosi's podcast, something like one of his more recent ones, and it was talking about how like if you just double down on working, like let's say you work Monday through Friday, then Saturday, Sunday you have like a another job.
Hmm.
Not only are you making more money, but you're saving money by not going out. So it's like a double compound effect. Like
Right.
you're gonna be you're gonna be tired, but you're not gonna be hungover. You're gonna have more money, and you're not gonna be spending it on stupid shit. So it's like I feel like
Exactly.
when you're young and or you're not young, but you're like trying to grind it out and figure out where you want to be. You just got to kind of put your head down and push forward. It's not going to be you're not going to have too many off days until you deserve them. To be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I will say for me, for the way I've planned out my year, it's hard for me to work a second job because I'm
Hmm.
saving the weekends for open houses.
Yeah.
Um, whether it's one, two, or three different open houses that weekend, Friday to
Hmm.
Sunday, and you're holding that open house from whatever time you start, 12 p.m. until 4 p.m.
Hmm.
And part of my prospecting is circle dialing before the open house, and then even after. Like people that have come in, I'm picking up the phone and calling them. Hey, thanks for coming through my open house. Like, are you looking to make an offer? Like, was this the perfect home for you? And so part of my business is I'm going to be fully committed, putting in 120% into what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I've already told myself this is going to be my day in, day out job. Like the way I've built it out, I need to do it this way. I can't afford to get a second job because I did try that up in the Bay. It wasn't working out for me. So I'd say do what you need to do to make money to stay afloat, and then once you see that business coming in, focus on that. Just stick with that.
Hmm. Nice.
But yeah, depends on the person. I would say.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, we let's see here. How's the market in San Diego compared to the rest of California? Do you have any I guess you could start with like the Bay Area up north, and then like, what are your thoughts on San Diego compared to everything else?
Yeah, yeah. I'd say the Bay Area when I left, it was a little slow for sure. Um, but it was also because of elections, people just holding out, waiting to see what the result of elections were going to be like, interest
Hmm.
rates, and there's so many different factors why someone would want to buy or sell their home. And it was just slow from I would say June until even when I moved down here till elections. Like no, it was pretty slow.
Hmm.
Um, and the moment the results from the elections came out, I saw this flood of buyers just coming through all our open houses. And I do mainly in the North County area of San Diego County. So I just started seeing all these different buyers come through the open house. And whether it's first time home buyers, So buyers looking to find their second home out of state, or even trying to move out of further south near the city and move up near Carlsbad because it's just a quieter area. They don't want to deal with the congestion, traffic, and whatnot. And so I'd say in the city downtown area is struggling right now.
Mm-hmm.
The condos, they're struggling. They're sitting on the market for 50, 60, even 100 days. But then if you look, it's totally different up here in North County. You're seeing stuff sit maybe 50, 60 days on average. It could be a little longer depending on the condition of the house. But the stuff that we sell, our our listings sit on average 23, 25 days on the market before it gets
That's
sold.
that's
Which,
pretty good. Three
yeah,
weeks.
yeah.
Yeah. What's
Because
like what's like your average sale, I guess? Like what's like typical?
yeah, I'd say out of what we do as a team in all of San Diego County, our average sales probably roughly around 900K.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And yeah, and it sits for 23, 25 days on the market. And all of that comes together and putting in the right marketing strategy. How do you
Mm-hmm.
how do you come to market? What are you listing the house at to make sure that you're qualifying all these different buyers looking to buy homes right now? There's a lot of different stuff that goes into being an agent, and we have that down to a T, so
Sounds
that
like
we're
it,
able to
yeah.
break that down to someone looking to sell, or even strategize with a buyer. Like, look, here's different homes that match your criteria. Like, you should invest now because you
Do
never
you,
know when you're going to be outbidded in the next couple months. Like the hot season's coming for buyers.
yeah.
Like sellers are going to, it's going to be back in the seller's market where you're going to have to bid with 8 to 9 other buyers on the table. So how does your
In
offer stand out with the 8 to 9 other people that are bidding on the house?
yeah. Um in your markets, do you I just lost my train of thought. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm sorry. I forgot. Tell me about
Very good.
the what do you do any what gyms are you at in San Diego? You said you
Gyms
were
like
you said you worked
working
at like a
out.
running shop. Yeah, are you into running or was
Yeah,
that just
yeah.
like a
I actually committed to training for not marathon, a triathlon.
Oh,
It's always
nice.
been a thing in the back of my mind to do a triathlon after competing in college. So running has actually been a big part of my life since sophomore year in high school. But even before that, I was a swimmer. I was a part of USA Swimming, competing year round, a part of USA Swimming.
So your cardio's on point.
Yeah, yeah, something like that. But yeah, after swimming, I just stopped loving the sport. It turned into a job for me, and I just stopped loving the sport. I wasn't improving, and it was a whole mindset thing. And so
Hmm.
I'm like, let me come in sophomore year of high school and try running. So let me see what cross country is like.
Yeah.
And I had these big aspirations to make varsity, make top seven, because in cross country, top seven scores for your team. And I was like, I want to be one of those guys that scores for our team, and I want to make sure that we make state. I want to make state with the team,
Hmm.
and I put my mind to it. And I remember the first meeting because we had little different groups set up, part of our team, like with different team leaders that have been on the team for a while. And I told him like, I want to make varsity. He's like, "Oh, you got big goals, man. Yeah, maybe eventually you'll make it." I remember him saying that, and I'm like, man, I'm gonna prove this guy wrong. And
Makes you want
so,
to do it even more. Yeah.
right? And so cross country goes through, and by the end of the season, I make it. I make it as an alternate, but hey, man, I still made varsity as an alternate. I got to go with the team to state, um, which every year you compete at in was it Woodward Park every year. Woodward Park, the fastest of the fast race there, and you got some guys winning races at 15 minutes for a 5K, like sub 15 minutes. It's crazy. Like you
Yeah, that's
got people
wild.
running fast, but eventually I got me in the college. Like I was able to get a scholarship to go to Menlo and run for them, and it was great. It's definitely a next level thing for sure. Being a student athlete in college because you got to balance school and
Hmm.
you also got to balance practice too. So how do you build your schedule around practice
Yeah,
when you got to practice 2, 3 times a day even like we run in the
and
morning.
that's before your social life too, if you
Yeah,
even have one.
I tried to make sure I had one. It was tough, and
Yeah,
then I was even working a couple days too, like on the weekend at the shoe shop too. So keep that in mind. Like
yeah,
I'm juggling 4 different things. Like I'm trying to keep up, and it was
yeah,
exhausting. I'll tell you that.
yeah.
And people overlook that student athlete life. Like, oh, you just went to school and you ran or wrestled or whatever sport you did, golf. It's more than that. You gotta. It's all about time management. How do you balance everything that you want to do?
Yeah, well, I think I think doing that helps set you up for success in the future. Whether I mean, you might not see it in the moment when you're 20 or 21, but like 4, 5, 6 years later down the road,
Yeah,
you your body, your mind is trained to deal with all the like juggling all those things. So you can kind of, if all you have to do is focus on one thing, becoming a good agent, that's easy at that point. You don't have to do five other things. You can just kind of get dialed in on that one goal. So that's cool. Yeah, my brother just did the 4x4x48 challenge. You ever heard of that?
no, I don't think I heard of
It,
that.
it's like the David Goggins challenge. It's 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours. It's like,
Dang,
yeah, it's fucking stupid. He did it.
wow,
Yeah, it was crazy. I ran like 60. I ran like 20 miles with him. But yeah, I was really impressed. It's definitely a mindset thing for
yeah,
sure.
that's a big challenge for sure. Yeah.
When's your triathlon? You said you signed up for one?
I'm actually gonna hop off after I hop off your podcast today. I'm gonna meet with a coach. She's a friend of
Nice.
mine I used to work with at the shoe shop, and she just got her Ironman coaching's license.
Nice.
Yeah, and so I told her once she got it, I'm gonna be her first client to train and build a plan with. So when she got it, I'm like, all right, when do you want to set the meeting up?
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, my brother, he signed up for a marathon in Jacksonville, Florida in like a month or so. I think it's
Nice.
called like the Donna Marathon or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
We did it last year. We did a triathlon sprint, which is like a very condensed version of the triathlon,
Yes, yeah,
and that's hard as hell. So,
yeah,
like a full triathlon seems crazy, and then an Ironman is like way harder than a triathlon.
yeah, yeah, for real. Yeah, but
Yeah.
it takes like just like anything, a lot of planning,
Hmm.
consistency, making sure you're doing the work and following the plan. Just
Yeah.
like I competed in college and just like anything, even business.
Hmm.
like,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
to answer your question about when I schedule when that triathlon is going to take place, I'm probably looking around September, October, so I have enough time to train
Cool.
for it.
Yeah.
Um,
Nice. Yeah, you'll close on your house right as you finish the triathlon.
right? Yeah,
Yeah, two back to back wins. That'll be a
exactly.
nice kickstart to
That's what I
Q4.
want. That's what I'm planning.
Hmm. Nice. Yeah, well, this was fun. I had some questions here. I asked them all. Anything you got for me? Any books you reading? Any podcasts you're listening to that other people might enjoy that are kind of in the same
Yeah.
mindset?
Right now, I'm like in the middle of like 3 different books, and I still have one more I got to get to. I'm like in the middle of Drive,
Hmm.
Think and Grow Rich. I'm trying to get through that, and then also Exactly What to Say for real estate agents too. Um, and I think that's very important for real estate agents, knowing exactly what to say. And I do role play every morning at 8 a.m.
Hmm.
and our role plays are all centered around this book, around exactly what to say.
Hmm.
And because if you know what to say, you're practically like it's impossible to not have a deal come your way if you know exactly what to say
Mm-hmm.
to someone that's looking or looking to sell or looking to buy. But I, Think and Grow Rich. I think that was the first book I started, and I think it's important for someone looking to come and start their own business to read that
Yeah.
book. It's a big mindset book, and you won't get it. You might get it at the beginning of the book. You might get it in the middle, or maybe the end. Like it tells you in the book, like at some point while reading this book, it's gonna click for you. And
Mm-hmm.
so I think that part of that reading that book was what initiated my thought of moving down to San Diego. And
Nice.
once started reading that book, I'm like, all right, I think it's time. Right now is the time to do it and take action. So,
That's good,
um,
man. Love it. Yeah, that's awesome. Last two things.
yeah,
What's a failure that you've had, and then like a an awesome achievement that you've had.
yeah, man, that's a good question. Um, I'll start with the biggest failure I've had. Um, I'd say, man, there's a lot that's happened in my life.
I put you on the spot. My bad.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. I'd say even like up in the Bay Area when I was starting to be an agent with Keller Williams, I
Mm-hmm.
didn't feel like I was 100% committed, and that's why I didn't see myself landing into any deals or any escrows because
Mm-hmm.
I was working that second job. I was living at home, but I wasn't really taking my business to another level, and I kind of kicked myself in the foot because the Bay Area is a great market to start.
Yeah.
Um, but it all comes down to environment too. So I took that into consideration. So even though I kind of failed starting as an agent up there, led me to moving down to San Diego and finding my first deal in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone's got to fail sometime. That's how we all learn.
Yeah. Failures. I mean, failure is good. Helps you learn and teach you what not to do on the next go around.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then a
Um,
major achievement or something that you a success that you're really proud of.
Honestly, just starting a podcast, man. Like starting a podcast, ending the year out strong, closing my first escrow was probably the biggest achievement I could see. Like just moving down here, even this whole move down to San Diego is a big risk in general. Because if you're just
Hundred
living off
percent.
savings, you never know when you're going to get paid next. Like to pay for
Mm-hmm.
rent, pay for food, maybe enjoy, like take yourself out to enjoy something, take your mind away from your business. You just never know it's when it's going to come. So all of that risk came out with a reward by the end of the year. So I think that honestly, as of recently, that's probably the biggest accomplishment I've had, at least in 2024, the last year.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, that's. I'm happy for you, and look forward to seeing all your success in 2025 and beyond.
I appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah. You as well. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, well, I think that's going to wrap it up for today, guys. Thanks for coming on, Tristan, and we'll link all your socials in the show notes. And if you're in the San Diego market or you just want to learn about real estate, I guess you can hit him up, and he'll be happy to help you out.
Yeah. And I appreciate you guys listening in and tuning in. Thank you, Jonathan, for having me as a guest on your show. Appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure, man. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.